Hello YouTube, it's Chris and I'm back in the Bolt again today. And hey, just a quick video today. I had a request from one of the subscribers to do a video on how we can try to achieve our best consumption when driving the Chevrolet Bolt. I just made a video recently where I showed summer consumption and range in your Bolt. You can easily get much further than the 383 kilometers that Chevrolet advertises with the car. Lots of viewers do it, but some people are saying they just can't achieve that that range. So I'll give you some of the things that I do, and hopefully it helps somebody. So one of the first things to look at here is that the car itself, just when it's idling, when it's turned on and you're not moving, you can see that it's using 1 kilowatt per hour, that you're just sitting there idling. So if that makes sense to you, the Chevrolet Bolt has a 60 kilowatt hour battery. That means you could actually sit here with the car on for 60 hours and then drain your battery completely. So that's kind of your, baseline. Also notice these two lines, this little circle here, the line. If you can manage to travel within this line here, this circle, that'll be your best economy. If you're using your power meter up here and it gets in here, and we can drive and show you this, you won't get as good an economy. So this is what everyone focuses on. This meter here shows you your estimated range, your maximum range, and potentially your lower range, depending on how you're driving car. This bar here would show you that you're trending either to the higher or lower range as you drive. But I wouldn't focus so much on this. They call this the guess-o-meter sometimes, because they're only making a guess based on this number. So, and this number is over this distance that you've traveled. So I just reset this 23 kilometers ago, and I've been achieving 13.1 kilowatt hours per 100K. Okay, so that's the number you're looking for. And in my mind, I'm trying to get to 12.5. That would be my best range that I've ever got on. You can see it just went up as we're sitting here because we're not actually going anywhere and I've got the car turned on. But you'd want to get in your mind 12.5 kilowatt hours per 100K. So as you drive, you'd want to see this in the 12 or under range, 12 or 100 kilowatts to try to reduce this number. So let's just drive a little bit and see if we can do that. So just watch that power meter as we go down the road here. Okay, I'm using 1 kilowatt because I'm going downhill here, but we're going to go uphill here in a second and try to get the power meter to go up. Okay, and you'll also see the power meter go down as I charge. Okay, so there we go, 23, still within that. Okay, see how I'm staying within the lines there? Okay, now let me hammer it a little bit and see if we can. You see how it turned yellow. See some regen as well when I let off. Here we go. Okay, so you can see it actually charging the car as I let off the throttle, or the accelerator, I guess. And that's quite substantial, because you'll know that if you charge your car at level 2, that you can hope to charge at 7.7 kilowatts. And you'll see that just my regen braking can be quite a bit higher than 7 kilowatts just driving around. There, I'm achieving 19 just when I'm stopping at this stop sign. Of course, that's only for a second, but you can see that that's good. If you're struggling with this readout and you want to work on your score, you can change, of course, just use your just use your controls here and go down to your layout, and you can change to this mode here. And this is actually pretty good because what it does here is it has a ball, and basically if you keep this ball in the middle of this section, you're achieving your best economy. And as you go up or down, you'll see that you're out of this. So it's the same thing I just talked about, but this is like a trainer to help you get used to driving in that range. So then another thing to look at here is your technique for driving. You can see my technique is quite good, and my score overall is 2.3. Here's all the things that will get better. So the outside temperature, as we get a little warmer here in Vancouver, will move up here, and this is where I can hope to achieve a better consumption rating, better average kilowatt hour per 100K. My terrain's not really going to change because I drive the same place all the time. And my climate controls, that's something to look at. So let's do that quickly too. Right now, it's in the summer. It is 17 degrees and I've got my controls turned right off. Now, if I turn on my fan in order to get some air through the car, you can see I've got my heat and AC turned off. I think some people just tend to leave that on all the time, even if they have their windows down. And you can see that it makes a big difference on your range by turning your heat on and off. Not necessarily the fan, but look, here we go. I'll turn that on again and watch my range. Yeah, see that? That's just turning on the AC. So I would recommend, I'm just going to turn the fan off so you don't hear it on the film, but I would recommend turning the heat and AC off all the time unless you need it. If starting to get colder, it's better to use always your heated seats and steering wheel instead of the heat or AC on here, because that is a draw directly off your battery, which you can see here. Your climate control. See how I'm using 0? If you're using that, it's because you're using your climate controls. And then battery conditioning, of course, is if it's extremely hot or cold, which we rarely see here in Vancouver, but that will also draw from the battery as well. So I guess one other tip I might have is that when I drive, I like to drive in low mode, okay, which is my max regen. And I do this all the time for two reasons. One is I think it helps me with my fuel economy, or sorry, not fuel economy, but with my average liter per 100K consumption. And it also, I basically do not use the friction brakes in the car, rarely if ever. I just let the car coast to a stop by itself. I remove my foot from the accelerator and the car will come to a complete stop in low. I do cover the brake when I'm at the red lights and stop signs, just safety to keep the lights on behind me so that drivers know that I've actually stopped. But otherwise, I'm always in low mode. On the rare occasion, like if I'm going down the highway and I don't want the car to regen, I just want to coast on the highway, I sometimes will drive in the drive mode. But I would say 99% of the time I'm in this mode. So that might help you as well. So then just a couple things to take into consideration if you're trying to achieve your best economy. One is that electric vehicles are at their maximum efficiency less than 50 kilometers an hour. And I know the guys in the US will be telling me, hey, what are all these things in miles? So 50 kilometers is like 30 miles an hour, right? 50 kilometers, 30 miles an hour. So that's your maximum efficiency. Now, of course, that's city driving. So if you're in town, your car is going to get your best economy. Of course, we have to drive on the highway. And what I've noticed is that efficiency over 90 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, it starts to drop off again. So what I try to do is, if I have the opportunity to use a B road over an A road, and I have the time, and sometimes it's just nicer to drive along, say, the coast or something without going down the main highway, I'll always take that one, travel at 90 or 100 kilometers an hour. I'm going to get better economy than if I hammer at 120, 130 kilometers an hour or 70 miles an hour. Your range will also be affected. The other thing to take, I get better economy in the summer than in the winter, and some of that is with the tires. The tires that come on the Chevrolet Bolt are low resistance tires, so you're going to get your best economy on your summer tires. So if you don't keep your winter tires on all year round, put the summers on as soon as the snow goes away. Also, one thing to check is the tire pressure. That's easy to do. I'll show you that right now. So again, we're just using the driver information cluster controls here. And that allows us to go through. Right now I'm on vehicle info, and that allows me to go up or down through the different controls here, and that's your tire pressure. As long as your tires have that green color, you're good to go. That's in kilopascals, so it's not pounds but kilopascals, and as long as additionally, remove anything in your car that you don't need. There's no need to carry around 50 or 100 pounds of weight in the car unless you have to. So clean out that space behind don't carry a bunch of boxes and stuff around that you maybe don't need in the car for some reasons. One is it stops people from maybe wanting to break in your car to see what's in those boxes, but also you'll get better economy, just you in the car, of course, drive. One other thing I do to achieve the best economy is I remove my roof rack and my bike rack when I'm not using them. The roof rack specifically for two reasons. One is it makes noise when it's on top of the car. The car is silent, so you want to remove anything that's making a little bit of noise. And I have the Yakima system, which landing pad 19 and my towers make that very easy because they clip off, and you can easily within seconds remove your whole roof rack. If you're driving around with your roof rack on all the time, that may affect economy a little bit. I take my bike rack off because it weighs 30 pounds. It's 30 pounds that the car doesn't need to have on it unless I'm carrying bikes around. That's about it that you need to look at. So again, this is what you want to focus on, that number. And in your mind, try to train yourself to get that down around 12.5. And the best way to do that is to watch this meter here and try to make sure you stay within those lines. Okay? So anyway, I hope that helps. Those are some things I do to achieve the economy I'm getting. Again, the best I've ever seen, about 12.5 kilowatt hours per 100K. The guy in the US there will want me to convert those to American numbers. I don't know all the imperial measurements off the top of my head, but maybe we can do some conversions. And if you guys have tips on what you do, I saw somebody who had incredible economy. Let us know what you're doing and how you're driving the Bolt to achieve your maximum economy. That would help everyone out. Okay, until next time, see you later.